have reached the final game of the Arkansas High School State Championship games for the weekend, and it is going to be a fun one. A 6A softball showdown between Bentonville and Har-Ber here on the beautiful campus of the University of Central Arkansas. Great to be with you. Welcome in Alyssa Orange alongside Kyle Sutherland. And Kyle, this is a game we've been waiting all day for, literally. The rain pushing us back a little bit because of weather this morning. Supposed to start at 4, but getting going here at 6 o'clock. But two teams with a lot of talent, very familiar with each other.
That's right. Played in this game last year. Bentonville won that one 1-0, and also conference foes out of the 6A West. Bentonville won both of those games 7-1 and 4-0 this year. Actually have won every game dating back to 2011 against the Wildcats, but Bentonville looking for their 7th state title since 2016. Meanwhile, Har-Ber looking for their first in school history. As
we wrap up the state games for softball, the baseball games are being changed because of the weather. There's going to be a Sunday game, that 6A game on Sunday at 2 p.m. between Rogers and Fayetteville. Then on Wednesday, the 2A baseball game between Cedar Ridge and Riverside. That game slated for 2 p.m. on Wednesday. But you mentioned a rematch from a season ago, and let's show you exactly how it all went down.
Yeah, it was just a pitcher's duel really there between freshman Sierra Dotts, now as an exceptional sophomore that everybody knows who she is, against Ryan Sanders, who was the senior leader, now playing at the University of Louisville. And as you said, it was really just those two that took control of everything. Then finally, there was a sacrifice fly from Kylie Wyman, who was also a freshman at that time, that scored Marissa Gianeschi, and then they got the throw out to end the game.
Controversial call there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely a close one, but of course, as soon as that happened, we know that they got the dog pile going, and they're trying to do that again. Is Bentonville.
So here is our Har-Ber player to watch in Savannah Woods, Kyle.
Yeah, Savannah Woods batting just a shade under 350, 4 home runs, currently committed to Oklahoma Christian, one of the 3 commitment/signees that we have on these Har-Ber Wildcat team.
On the other side for Bentonville, who to keep an eye on?
It starts with the senior leader, Aniston Wright, who actually was on the other side for the Har-Ber Wildcats last year, played her first 3 years at Har-Ber. She is committed to Drake, actually signed with Drake University, batting a little over 400 right now, and trying to get another home run.
Well, we talked about the weather. It was rainy all morning, pushing this game back to 6 o'clock, but right now, looking quite beautiful out there at Shock Stadium. A beautiful 72 degrees, a little bit of humidity, a little clouds out there, but a beautiful night to crown a softball champion in the 6A division. We're ready to go. So are they. Coming up after the break, we're going to get you going from Conway as Har-Ber and Bentonville battle for a title. Stick around.
This championship game is made possible by...
Since 1937, the electric cooperatives of Arkansas have been providing power to homes, farms, and businesses across our state. The cooperatives are member-owned and work together to serve Arkansans. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas proudly support high school students and athletics in Arkansas, and hope you enjoy watching the state championship games on Arkansas PBS Sports. Better connected together. The Electric Cooperatives of Arkansas.
UAMS is a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS Sports. UAMS Health provides orthopedic and sports medicine care across Arkansas, supporting athletes and teams throughout the state. Find out more at UAMShealth.com. Winrock Automotive supports Arkansas athletes as a sponsor of the Arkansas PBS Sports broadcast of the High School State Championship games, with 7 dealerships across the state serving Little Rock, Conway, and Jonesboro. Winrock Automotive is community-focused and provides vehicle sales and service across Arkansas. We're honored to be a part of these unforgettable moments, celebrating Arkansas student athletes. Winrock Automotive, connecting communities through service and support.
Well, here we go. Let's get it started as Iria Palmer steps into the batter's box to start things off for Har-Ber. Let's look at those who will bat behind her. It's going to be Zamaria Sanchez, Kennedy Smith, Jasmine Thomas, Sierra Dotts, Savannah Mounts, Briley Bratcher, Belle Haney, and Madison Little. That is your lineup for the Har-Ber Wildcats. On the other side, inside the circle, Kyle, is Darby Burnett.
She has been exceptional in her junior season, the Texas A&M commit. Of course, last year she sat behind Ryan Sanders, was a little bit banged up too. She pitched a little bit her freshman year, but she'll sit about a consistent 63 to 65. She's topped out at 68, work a lot of that heavy drop ball.
There, her first pitch of the game, a ball, a little high. That one, though, right down the middle for strike number 1.
Zaire, known around the softball world as Z Palmer, and she's been a 4-year starter for these Lady Wildcats.
Squaring around to bunt, trying to draw. Got a high ball inside, close to the face mask there, but no damage for ball number 2. We mentioned these are two teams that met during the regular season at Bentonville and at Har-Ber. Bentonville winning both of those matchups.
Zaire batting .337 on the year, 28 hits, 8 of those doubles with 18 RBI.
Har-Ber would love to get a lead off here in their lineup on base to start things off. Battling and sends that one back into the net. Got a full count now on Palmer.
Count here, wouldn't be shocked to see Darby try to utilize that drop ball.
This one back up the middle through the infield, and that is a leadoff single for Zaria Parker. And Har-Ber likes that. If you're going to get to Bentonville, who we'll talk more about just the history that this program has in this state championship game, you got to start being aggressive early, and that is a way to start it off with a leadoff single.
Yeah, couldn't ask for much more to get the leadoff single on. That was one of the things last year, as we talked about with the 1-0 victory for Bentonville, was just trying to get runners across. So great start there to get somebody on base, the leadoff on base.
This is the catcher, Xiomara Sanchez, now squaring around to bunt, pulls back. That ball gets away from the catcher, and now Palmer is in scoring position at second. Taking advantage of anything they can are the Lady Wildcats today.
That's one thing that Coach Early had talked about a little bit earlier in the season was wanted to make sure that, Alexis Lorenz there behind the plate, make sure that she blocks the balls, because there has been some wild pitches here and there, so a little bit uncharacteristic for the most part of Bentonville, but now the Wildcats have a runner in scoring position with no outs.
Well, that ball just kind of looked like it bounced off the edge of her glove. That one handled, but still a 2-0 count early on Sanchez.
Savannah Woods, Oklahoma Christian commit, so she'll be playing with Z Palmer in college as well.
There's a lot of players on this field going to be playing.
Yeah, we'll see a
at
lot
the
of
next level. We're going to talk about that as well. Just so much talent that has come from both of these programs. And now, once you kind of get that started, Kyle, you start to attract more talent, and more of these college programs are well aware of the talent you do produce, and so they show up more often to practices.
That's exactly right. You have that too. Whenever a coach comes to recruit one kid, they might see another one shining out, but also too the schedule that these two teams play. You look at Bentonville especially, they've gone to Melissa, Texas, the consensus #1 team. They've gone to Sterlington, Louisiana, Calvary Baptist. So just getting to play some of these top teams really regionally has also helped get their kids noticed.
Good exposure for sure. A 2-2 pitch and in for strike 3. Swing and a miss, and that is the first out and the first strikeout there for Burnett.
It's going to bring up catcher Xiomara Sanchez, outstanding sophomore. You think about now, of course, I know that we're talking about Har-Ber's batting order right now, but Ziamara and Sierra Dots there, a really outstanding sophomore battery mate. So Har-Ber's going to have them around for even 2 more years.
That one outside for the catcher over, and that just errors are going to be taken advantage of. And there you have Zaria Palmer in to score the first run of the game. And just like that, very quickly, Har-Ber up 1-0 over Bentonville. And I tell you, these Wildcats know exactly how valuable that run is, taking advantage of some errors there by Bentonville.
Yeah, that was a really good catch there by Lorenich. That was way high and outside. She was able to glove it, but just a little bit too high of a throw. And really great base running there by Sanchez, and they took advantage, and now they've got the 1-0 lead.
Sanchez here, watching ball 2 come in. This one back to Kylie Wyman at shortstop. She gets the out at first, and that is the second out of the inning per Bentonville. Let's take a look at who's playing around here for the defensive side of the ball for the Bentonville Tigers. Demi Donahoe, Kiera Burkhart, Marissa Gianeschi, Isabella Mears, Aniston Wright, Kylie Wyman, Violet Wynn, Bella Mears, and Alexis Lorenich. And so for this Bentonville team, who has played a lot of softball together over the years, just feels a little out of sync early here in the first.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of just one of those things. I'm hesitant to say nerves just because Bentonville is so used to being here. But that's the thing, too, is you got to imagine Har-Ber is as pumped up as they've ever been, especially with how last year's final ended, of course, how the regular season games also ended. They know they've got a huge opportunity here. So Bentonville's just got to settle in.
Right now, I think it looks like Burnett just trying to find a little bit more control on those pitches. The rise ball sailing on her just a little bit, and Kennedy Smith here batting for Har-Ber, the third baseman. Not giving her that outside corner. Might have been a ball length outside, but very close. 2-1 count. Now 2-2 on Smith. Bentonville just trying to get out of this inning, get this third out, regroup, get into the dugout, and get their offense going. That one sails outside for ball 3. Now a full count.
Already had a couple of full counts here. Har-Bernett went with that drop ball when they went with when they hit the single up the middle, when Z Palmer hit that one up the middle. Let's see if she goes back to that drop ball.
That one sails on her outside again, and so she walks Smith, and this is going to bring up Jasmine Thomas, the sophomore here, the first baseman for Har-Ber. And right now, again, Har-Ber taking what they're giving them. Bentonville not as tight as we're used to seeing them, and the Har-Ber Wildcats taking advantage as much as they can.
Justin Thomas having a great year, batting just under 400, around the 390 range, and also second on the team with 34 RBI.
See strike one come in there. That one in for strike number 2.
I think Darby's really just trying, especially what we saw in that outside corner that was close a second ago. I think she's really just trying to, like most pitchers are in the first inning, just kind of figuring out what they're going to get and what they're not.
Yeah, we were talking about that in the game earlier between Hackett and Riverside. This first inning is just a wait for these pitchers to kind of see what this strike zone looks like. The throw down not in time. Oh, it looks like maybe she got off of the bag. And they were able to hold that tag, which we talked about earlier on this turf. It's slippery. You slip past that bag. You're probably going to slip maybe further than you're used to because it's still a little wet from the rain. Taking a look there. Oh, yeah, and she just slides off the base. Just that little hand off the edge of the base there. Really heads-up play by Kylie Wyman to just hold on to that tag just in case. That's out number 3, and we head to the bottom of the first, but Har-Ber striking first with a 1-0 lead.
I think it's important for Arkansas PBS to have sports because it provides sports on a greater platform to the entire community. And it also gives people in various other communities an opportunity to see other schools and other athletes and to have a greater appreciation for not just their own community, but the sports that are available across the state of Arkansas. There are so many lessons that sports provides, and it's one of the reasons why it's so important to the next generation of athletes coming up.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by
Centennial Bank supports communities across Arkansas and is a proud supporter of the Arkansas Activities Association and Arkansas PBS Sports, providing financial services since 1999. Member FDIC, more at my100bank.com.
Welcome back, and we are here in the bottom of the first as Bentonville looking to start things off offensively with Kylie Wyman, the shortstop, and then Demi Donahoe, Violet Wynn, Aniston Wright, Marissa Gianeschi, Alexis Lornage, Lana Carlton, Kira Burkhart, and Bella Mears rounding out their batting lineup. Inside the circle, we talked about her a little bit before the game started, in Sierra Dots.
Yeah, Sierra Dots, also known as CC. She's got 152 strikeouts on the year. She's going to work a lot of east and west. 99% curveball is kind of the scouting report that I've mostly gotten on her, so we'll see a lot of curves.
Well, Bentonville as a team, pretty impressive what they've been able to put up numbers-wise this season. Kyle, 311 hits, 32 home runs, 109 strikeouts to 129 walks. I mean, they know how to get things done offensively.
That's right, hitting 413. That's anything over 400 is pretty gravy if you ask me. But that's what Coach Early has done really his whole tenure here. I mean, you go up and down the lineup and you see college signee, college commit, big hitter here, or even his slapper. He's got some power slappers. I mean, they're just a very, very well-rounded team, and that's why they've done what they've done throughout the years.
This one hit to shortstop. Savannah Woods able to get it, but the throw into the dirt, not in time. And Kylie Wyman safe at first. That's a leadoff single for Bentonville, and just like Har-Ber, their leadoff batter standing at first base.
That's right. That's her 43rd hit on the year, and really last year, basically one injury kind of moved her from the freshman team to the shortstop spot. Coach Early had to kind of put the puzzle pieces together. It was when Violet Wynn went down before the season, and so that caused some shifting in the infield, and she was one of the pleasant surprises that came up out of that.
Now Demi Donahoe, the left fielder,
had 3 hits in this state championship last year.
Turns around, lays beautifully down that bunt back to the pitcher, but Dots able to get it, but not in time. The speed of Donahoe showing off there, and Bentonville now has runners on first and second base. No outs as Violet Wynn stands into the batter's box. The third baseman here seeing if she can tie this game up.
Now you've got really the heart of the order here with Violet and Wynn coming up in the 3-hole, and then at cleanup you got Aniston Wright, all 13 home runs from Wright. So real heavy hitters coming up in the next two batters.
That's the one thing you know, Kyle, when you face this Bentonville team, a team of this caliber, and Har-Ber on the same side as well, 1 through 9 is just going to be a hard out.
Yeah, that's right. I think we were talking about that in the Benton game. I mean, you just look really 1 through 9, and there's not one that you look at, it's like, oh, maybe they're in a little bit of a slump. They're kind of, it's just pretty much dominance across the board.
Dodd's trying to work that outside corner as well, but both of those just a little outside. 2 balls, no strikes on Wynn. That one she got. Wynn is a college signee going to Dartmouth. We talked about Aniston Wright going to Drake. Demi Donahoe, by the way, going to Yale. No big deal.
Not only are they impressive on the field, also in the classroom.
I always envied those who were that kind of smart and athletic. Our valedictorian went to Harvard, but he was
I've heard of that place.
On the football team. He went to go play football at Harvard, our valedictorian.
We've had 1 or 2 come out of Arkansas and go to Harvard. It's been a while, but we've had them.
So she draws the walk, and now it is bases loaded. No outs for Bentonville as they're looking to tie things up and then do a little bit more here in the bottom of the first. And Aniston Wright, she was our player to watch, and you talked a lot about her, but there's some significance, Kyle, you were saying, to the number that she wears.
Yeah, she's wearing number 15. She wore 18 at Har-Ber last year, but now wearing number 15 because if she hits a home run today, that's going to tie the school record for most in a single season from back all the way to 2010. Now, of course, she gets 15. That's going to break the record, but I think a big reason on top of the bases being juiced why Coach Osnes wanted to go talk to Sierra Dots is because obviously Sierra Dots knows Aniston Wright very well and vice versa from playing together. So Coach Osnes knows, I think it was 14 or 15 home runs that Aniston hit last year, so he knows exactly what she can do coaching her last season.
She talked about that school record. It was set by Alex Sullivan in 2010, like you mentioned, but I love that. A daily reminder of your goals right there on the back of her jersey. Watches ball 1, and these two teams probably about 25 minutes apart from Springdale Har-Ber up to Bentonville, and maybe a little less depending on which route you take. These are girls who have played together their whole entire lives on travel ball teams, on little league teams, and now just because of where they live on different high school teams. But you're right, I remember facing a lot of people I knew. One of my best friends was a pitcher for another team in the district, and every time I would step into the plate against her, she would just start laughing. So those relationships, this sports definitely.
It's crazy with that yellow ball, the relationships it can create. And speaking of smiles, I know Sierra didn't care for that not being a strike, but I'll tell you what, I got to give it to the home plate umpire, Ray Burwell. He's not giving either one of them that corner. He's as consistent as you could ask, really. He's not giving it to her.
She's saying, I'm not getting that one, so they're going to make me come in and pitch at her.
That's all they wanted. That's all they asked. They just asked, coaches asked for it to be consistent.
As long as it's consistent, that's all you can ask for. And there it is for strike number 2. The Wildcats, excuse me, still looking for their first out here in the bottom of this first. Bases are loaded. That one into left field. That's going to score a run. Demi Donahoe going to come around and score as well, and that is a 2 RBI single for Aniston Wright. And just like that, one swing of the bat, and Bentonville takes the lead 2-1 here in the first. Still no outs for the Tigers.
Just a really tough spot for Sierra Dots to be in. She's one of the best pitchers in the state, but regardless of who's in that circle, when especially you've got someone like Wright up there that's a big hitter and knows the pitcher really well, and the bases are loaded, that's just a really, and especially with no outs, that's extremely tough to be in.
Familiarity just from growing up playing this sport, but familiarity also in the fact that these two teams have already played twice this year. They know each other very, very well, though Bentonville has won at both of those matchups. 7-1, 4-0, as you mentioned at the top of the show. It's hard to beat teams 3 times, though. That's what they always say. This is Marissa Gianneschi, the right fielder for Bentonville now, stepping in, seeing if she can add to this lead Bentonville has now given themselves. Excuse me, this is Alexis Lorenage. I apologize. I had it flipped on my paper. The catcher here for Bentonville.
She is not a college commit or signee because she's a sophomore, but she will be.
Someone's got eyes on her, I'm sure.
She will be. She was kind of another one of those like Kylie Wyman I was mentioned that stepped up as a freshman last year.
Draws a full count here against Sierra Dots. Takes this one off the end of the bat, a big catch there and caught, doubled up, a huge double play there for Har-Ber. And that is really going to help the Wildcats try to stop the damage and get out of this inning. A great catch there by Savannah Woods. Just an unfortunate circumstance, slipping there on the turf and able to catch Aniston Wright and double her up at first base. A quick 2 outs right there, and the defense can relax a little bit.
And also, for sure, the defense, especially Sierra Dots, knowing that she goes from 0 to 2 outs with multiple base runners on, definitely gives her a little bit of confidence, just knowing she's got to get that last out. And the worst damage that could possibly be done is just being down by a run.
Now Marissa Gianneschi steps into the box for Bentonville.
Another college commit going to Missouri, Kansas City. And Marissa's really,
the Kangaroos up
there.
Yeah,
the Kangaroos, that's right. She has really improved this year. So right around the Harrison tournament, right before spring break, she hit 2 home runs in that. And Coach Early kind of described that as her coming out party. And she's batting .425 on the year, which is significantly much better than what she was at last year. Just really continued to improve.
Watches a ball there, and I think Dots is just kind of wondering exactly where on that outside corner she can get the call. 2 balls, 1 strike. Swing and a miss there. Now 2-2, 1 strike away from ending this inning and getting their offense back going at it in the second, but you got to get Gianneschi out first. Still a runner on second. Pops this one into foul territory. Madison Little unable to get there, but no damage done. She'll come back and try it again. This is already the 6th batter that Dot has faced this inning. Her pitch count already up at 22. Almost a great effort there by Jasmine Thomas to try to lay out and end the inning, but again, a foul ball is going to give Gianneschi another opportunity at the plate.
Yeah, really, that's one of the things too that I know that really about Marissa Gianneschi is she does battle. I mean, all these kids, everyone, and regardless of what team we're talking about, all of them are battling at the plate throughout the year like we've seen, but
still just battling. I love it. Do you know, she looks tall. How tall is Marissa? Do you have an idea?
I'd say when I went down there to Melissa to watch them, I was pretty close to her. She was I would say maybe about an inch or 2 short of me, so at least about probably 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah, she is tall, you can tell. And continues to battle there, fouling off these pitches, and all that does is just get Dots' pitch count up a little bit higher.
Getting pretty close to the cars out there. They don't have a broken
It's always Look at the draw when you're parking around baseball or softball fields. My parents had a couple broken windshields. Oh, a collision there, but a catch still made by Kennedy Smith to end the inning, and that is going to do it. Har-Ber going back into the dugout to get ready for their next at-bat, but now they're trailing 2-1 as Bentonville puts up 2 runs in the bottom of the first. We roll on here from Conway after this.
This month on Arkansas PBS.
It's one Cole Porter showstopper after another in a comic look at the staging of Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew.
Starring Lisa Davidson, Freddie DeTomaso, and Quinn Kelsey, and Yannick Nézet-Séguin conducts. Don't miss Puccini's opera thriller.
One gentleman showed me his coffee mugs that he had received as a wedding present, and they were $900, so that would surprise me.
Only on Arkansas PBS.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by...
Summerwood Sports Complex in Bryant features 4 courts across 2 gyms, located off Interstate 30, offering space for tournaments, practices, and training. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association and Arkansas PBS. More at summerwoodsports.com.
Arkansas PBS Sports is supported by Wendy's. One of the menu choices is the Salted Caramel Frosty. Availability may vary by location. Salted Caramel Frosty at Wendy's, that sounds very good.
Ooh, all you need is a little bit of French fries to go with that.
After this long wait all day.
Salted French fries sounds absolutely delicious. Welcome back here in the top of the second inning. Ava Stymus, Kiera Burkhart, and Isabella Mears is going to round out the bottom of the lineup here for the Wildcats, who got 1 on the board at the top of the first, and Bentonville answered with 2 of their own. So now Har-Ber trying to see if they can continue what they started.
Burnett went right back to that outside corner, just a little bit too far outside for a ball. But I'm really interested to see, especially now that we're an inning down, and see what we get from both Burnett and Dotts now that they kind of understand where their spots need to be.
One count on Stymus. Excuse me, Jasmine Thomas. I apologize. My lineups are all over the place on that piece of paper. Carl's laughing at me at the scribbles. And you know what I've learned? Don't use a pen.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned. I'm going to take that.
When I first started doing some
away
scoring,
with me.
Yeah,
don't use pen.
I use nothing but pencil when I'm scoring, because I'm probably more prone to mistakes than anybody on this planet, if we're being honest. Anybody that's worked with me.
So again, Jasmine Thomas here, the sophomore. She's going to be followed by Sierra Dotts, and she takes her walk to start off the inning.
I'd be interested to know how many times a leadoff hitter has gotten on against Bentonville twice this year, twice in a row.
In back-to-back innings?
Yeah.
Probably few, if I had to be a betting person. Your Har-Ber head coach here, Randy Osmus, and he's got quite a talented lineup to work with. And again, he is looking for a state title to bring home to Springdale. They're going to have to beat their crosstown rivals in Bentonville to do so, Kyle.
Coach Osmus, he's got a few state championships. They were all from Farmington, but we got really 2 of the best head coaches in the state of all time, frankly, on this field today. But Coach Osmus, near 3-decade career, won state titles at 2000, 2005, and 11. Also had 5 runner-up finishes with the Lady Cardinals. The field is named after him, so coming up on 700 wins. I know he's between 650 and 700, so a very established career.
If the field named after you, you're doing something right. Absolutely. Sierra Dotts here. We've seen her in the circle, but right now batting .288 on the season. She's got 15 hits and 6 RBI. She's got a runner on first right now and an 0-2 count. That is strike number 3, and that is out number 1. Strikeout number 2 for Burnett. And now up to bat brings Savannah Mouse.
We'll only see pitcher on pitcher when Darby is on the mound because she is a PO.
So another sophomore in Mounts here in this lineup for Har-Ber. And when you look at the lineup overall, Kyle, you lead off with a senior in Zaria Palmer, but then it's junior, sophomore, 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 and then you have 2 seniors at the bottom of the lineup in Briley Bratcher and Belle Haney. And so a lot of young talent for this Har-Ber team.
That's the crazy thing about both of these squads is there's just so much young talent, and they're always in the mix too. Obviously Bentonville's done what it's done, but Har-Ber too over the past few seasons especially. And so they're not just doing it with a lot of seniority. It's younger kids that are stepping up and playing at extremely high levels.
A 1-1 count now on Savannah. 1 out. Watches strike 2 go in there, and you can see right here with head coach for Bentonville, Kent Early, he's giving signals to Darby Burnett on the mound in the circle. And then Alexis Lorinage behind the plate. And then they're looking at those wristbands, which those weren't around back in my day, but it's always interesting, Kyle, to see how each team chooses to communicate, whether it's coach to catcher, then catcher to pitcher, or coach to pitcher and catcher at the same time, or, you know, sometimes depending on how confident you are in your catcher, they're calling their own game by their senior year.
That's right. I know Sarah Watson, who was back there for, gosh, I guess she was a 3-4 year starter and now playing in college. I know that she used to call games and good. Yeah, the wristbands are becoming more popular. Of course, in college, they've got the watches that I've seen too that they'll signal stuff in. We're not quite there yet, but seeing a heavy uptick in wristbands.
When we had Sandy Searcy on with us yesterday from the director of sports for the NFHS, she was talking about those kind of communications, technology communications, and whether or not you could add those to the high school level, just like they do now in college, especially a communication device from your coach to the catcher in their helmet to make communication a little bit more easier. So this is Briley Bratcher, the senior, at bat. 2 outs now. Jasmine Thomas still on first base for Har-Ber. That one right down the middle for strike number 2.
Bratcher's got 28 hits on the year. 11 of those are doubles.
So she has the ability to get something going here for her team. A little 2-out rally. Watches that one. A swing and a miss, and that is another strikeout, and that is going to end the inning for the Bentonville Tigers. No damage done in the top of the second. We've got Ava Stymus, Kiara Brookhart, and Isabella Mears coming up next for the Tigers.
This month on Arkansas PBS.
I must face the fact that nothing will ever come of my writing. I had opportunities, squandered them.
Let's get you inside. If you're looking for us to take her in, the answer's no.
You are about to take your vows. Do you feel ready?
Her voice catapulted her to stardom.
She seduced the world.
But for Julie Andrews, fame was overwhelming.
Who is ever prepared for something like that?
Only on Arkansas PBS.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by
Everett Buick GMC provides vehicles to Arkansas families and supports local organizations. Community involvement has been part of our story for generations. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association and Arkansas PBS Sports. More at everettbgmc.com.
This is what we were given. Well, welcome back here in the bottom of the second. Right now, Bentonville with a 1-0 lead, but here's a look at the defensive lineup thanks to Winrock Automotive. Madison Little, Briley Bratcher, Savannah Mounts in the outfield. Kennedy Thomas, Savannah Woods, Zaria Palmer, Jasmine Thomas, Sierra Dots, and Zamaria Sanchez behind the plate for the Wildcats. As now we see Ava Stymus come to the plate for the first time. The bottom three batters of this Bentonville lineup.
Stymus, the junior, normally comes in to pinch hit typically in that 7-hole and has been pretty successful this year, batting .382, got 13 RBI, and Coach Early probably saw something in the matchups that he really liked, putting her in that spot.
2 balls, no strikes right now, and you see these shadows as the sun is coming out here at Shock Stadium. The assistant coach Lindsay Davis having to shield her eyes a little bit there at first base because there's a glare off this turf. That's one of the negative things about the turf, but I'm not going to say anything else about the field because it drained beautifully for us today so that we could get these games in. So
yeah, we've seen it be a little bit slippery. The first one, then when they recorded that last out, and then we saw it in the 2A game, same thing. They slid into, they had a player slide into second that went a little bit too far. So that's something to watch too.
Gonna have to go get Coach Davis some sunglasses. Coach Davis and I go back a few years. I'll send her a text, let her know, be like, Coach, you got to bring your sunglasses out next time.
Coach Early's,
you go out there in the that first base coach's corner over there.
Yeah, Coach Early's always got the black hat in his shade, so I'm sure he's well protected there coaching third.
Yeah, but the sun creeping out today. It's good to see a sun, but causing a little bit of an issue on the field.
Of course, the third base side there, they're in the shade right now.
Well, it's tough sometimes as a hitter when your pitcher is in the sun and you're in the shade and you're having to kind of squint to see her as the ball's coming out of her hand. That's a strikeout for Dots. The first out of the inning. Kiera Brookhart, the center fielder, coming up to bat for the Tigers.
Not a 5-hole, 8-hole, batting .403. National Park signee. Want to play her college ball for the Nighthawks in Hot Springs.
A 1-1 count as you take a look at Bentonville head coach Kent Early. And Coach Early has got a lot of pedigree just in coaching in general. We can get into that a little bit, but personally, you know, he and 2 other coaches tied with 6 state titles. He wins 1, he will be the winningest softball coach in the state of Arkansas with 7.
That's right, yeah, all 6, of course, at Bentonville. They had 4 previous runner-up finishes as well, but 2016, 17, 18, then 2021 and 22, and of course last season. But yeah, the son of the great Alvy Early, who spent many, many years as both UAM softball coach and coach women's basketball. Alvy Early actually has the most victories of any collegiate head coach in any division, any sport in the state of Arkansas. And that's actually, you'll see the green ribbons in Bentonville's hair. That is actually in honor of Alvy, who passed away in 2018.
Wonderful tribute there to their coach's father. The 9-hole hitter here, Bella Mears, the second baseman for Bentonville, has a 1-0 count, squares around, sets down the bunt, back to Dots. Dots not in time, and Mears showing off her speed. She is standing at first base, and that brings up the top of the lineup for the Lady Tigers. Kylie Wyman steps in, and she's the one that scored the first run for the Tigers today.
You saw Bella Mears getting on base there. That's one that Coach Early has called the most improved player on the team this year. I mean, a 9-hole hitter, Alyssa, hitting over 500. Just crazy numbers right there, but she has just really improved. Really, between her, Marissa Gianeschi, just shows the development of this program with especially the steps forward that those two have taken.
Well, if my daughter at home is watching, she now has a new favorite player in Bella Mears, because that is also her name. Pretty biased there.
Yeah, that's fair, though.
Ball 2 here on Wyman, a 2-0 count. That one in there for a strike. But again, you can see how that sun right now bouncing off her helmet. You got a 3-1 count here. See if she'll take this for potential ball 4 or get the green light to swing away. Takes ball 4, and now you've got runners on first and second base for the Tigers. And Denny Damaho coming up now. She also responsible for that second run. All thanks to that Aniston Wright 2 RBI single in the first.
Demi really loves this stage. As I mentioned, her first at bat had 3 hits that led everybody in the game last year, and already knocked a single today.
A quick little meeting in the circle for the Wildcats, just having a discussion while Zamara Sanchez gets things worked out, maybe a little equipment adjustment for the catcher behind the plate. The Wildcats just need 1 out to get out of this inning. 2 on for Bentonville. That one in for a strike on the outside corner. Back to the shortstop, easy out at first, and that is going to end the inning. The Wildcats getting things done defensively, not allowing Bentonville to score any runs there in the bottom of the second. We now head to the third. The Tigers still lead it 2-1.
This month on Arkansas PBS.
Hi, I'm Steve Weldon, inviting you to join me for a fun-filled 3-day hike in one of the most scenic national parks in America.
Now I'm going further, following a route inspired by the Pan American Highway, a system of roads connecting the Americas.
Each week we travel the country north to south, east to west, exploring some of the most exciting gardens.
Only on Arkansas PBS.
This broadcast is underwritten in part by...
For over 70 years, Farm Bureau Insurance has offered coverage for automobiles, homes, farms, and lives across Arkansas. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association. More at afbic.com.
It is time for our Farm Bureau trivia question, and well, I feel like, Kyle, you might know the answer to this. Who holds the all-time record for the most state championships as a coach? I know you maybe know it.
I'm gonna keep it to myself.
Okay, you keep it to yourself.
Let the audience
I
work
really
their magic, work their
that's
brains
very
a little
nice.
bit.
Not just jumping the gun there. We'll let our audience think about it and see if they are also correct. But when I read the question for today, I was hoping I was going to be able to stump Kyle. Not so much, but that's okay. You're just smart, and I appreciate that.
I don't know if my high school and college GPAs would agree with that, but I made it through, right? Got both of those pieces of paper.
That is all that matters here in the top of the third. Belle Haney, the 9-hole hitter here for Har-Ber. That one off the glove of Sanchez. I think that might be the third or fourth time that that's happened for Sanchez behind the plate today. I don't know if I'm not going to blame the glove. I'm not going to blame anything. It just has happened more than you'd anticipate it to.
Yeah, of course, had that really good grab that she's got it right behind the plate there in the first inning. The throw was just a little bit too high to third base, and that was what scored Har-Ber's first run. But something Bentonville definitely have to clean up so it doesn't come back to bite them later.
Got a 2-1 count on her. Let's tip our caps to the officials in today's game. Behind the plate right now, Ray Burwell. On first base, Keith McKay. And on third base, Tim Althage. These umpires working hard, have been working hard all weekend for us on these state games, and so thank you for that.
They've been waiting this out with us.
A 3-1 count now to Haney. And that is ball 4, so that is a leadoff walk for the Wildcats. And that brings up the top of the batting order for Har-Ber, and Zaria Palmer, who led things off, is the reason why there is 1 run on the board for Har-Ber with her leadoff hit to start things off.
She's trying to lead another charge and get a few more runs on the board.
I think she just told Coach, hey, I didn't see that. Coach had to give her the signal again. Turnaround, squares down, lays down that bunt. Scooped up, though, by Violet Wynn. Out at first, but able to advance the runner to second into scoring position, and that was her job. That's exactly what she was asked to do, and the hardest thing is to put the ball on the bat.
That may have been, and I say this, of course, kind of jokingly, but she may have been, Coach Austin's told her more than likely, hey, bunt that down, advance the runner, sacrifice, but she maybe wanted to get a hit. Maybe that was why she looked back and tried to see if that was exactly what he said.
Well, if they can get Haney around to score, that bunt, that sacrifice just as good as a hit for these Har-Ber Wildcats to tie things up. This is Savannah Woods, the junior. We talked about her at the beginning of the game as well. 0 for 1 today, but a big opportunity for Savannah here. Along with Palmer, an Oklahoma Christian signee or commit at this point as a junior.
Savannah Woods, talked about Jasmine Thomas with 34 RBI when they had a runner on in the previous inning. Savannah Woods does lead the team with 38 RBIs. Let's see if she'll knock 1 or 2 more in here. Or I guess 1. I'm sorry, I forgot the other one got thrown out.
That one high, count now 2-1. Fouls that one off. Continuing to battle. She struck out the first time in the first. Burnett right now with 4 strikeouts on the day. Her pitch count up to 47 here in the top of the third. She has 3 walks too, so Har-Ber trying to be patient, see if they could get Burnett to give them a freebie. You see the communication there again by Coach Early communicating with his pitcher and his catcher to relay in these signals and what he's wanting to see from his pitcher. That one a little high and outside. Full count.
Way to grab that by Lorenz. We had mentioned a couple times there was a few that have gotten away from her in the first few innings.
Ooh, that one into the dirt for ball number 4, but away from Lorenz, and that is going to advance Haney to third. So now runners on the corners, 1 out. And Har-Ber looking to tie this game up and then some.
It's about the position that they had when they put that run on the board, taking advantage of some Bentonville mistakes, and it looks like we're going to have a meeting in the circle. Coach Early headed there.
Going in there just to have a conversation, telling his infield to calm down. But again, you have to respect that runner on third. And remember how she got there, a walk to start off the inning. And that's something when you look at this game and just taking advantage of what you're given. Har-Ber trying to just be patient at the plate, fouling off balls they don't like. And a walk as good as a base hit in games like this.
Absolutely, especially those leadoffs. That's one of the things that as a coach that you hate to see when you give a free pass on that one. And right now, it's certainly in Har-Ber's favor.
Quick little conversation between catcher and head coach. Xiomara Sanchez at the plate. The sophomore 0 for 1 early in this game. Squares around to bunt. Gonna pull it back and watch his strike number 1 fall in. Still runners on the corners with 1 out for Har-Ber. Having a foul ball for strike 2, and Burnett now ahead in this count. And we'll see if she tries to get that outside corner working for strike number 3 here.
Yeah, but had the count obviously, and gotten a couple of times where she's pitching in, working around a full count. So we'll see if this stays at her advantage. And
she tried. She's just still trying to find that groove there on that outside pitch for a strike. A little high and outside. And you can see with the infield playing in their normal positions, that conversation with Coach Early was just, hey, it's okay. Take a deep breath. Let's execute. You get a double play in that runner, or even a strikeout, throw him out potentially. Which I don't know if that was a very smart throw there by Sanchez, because there was the strikeout. You just let her, in my opinion, take the base.
Yeah, right over, looks like Wyman's head into shallow center field. Once again, Har-Ber's able to capitalize and advance the runner home from 60 feet.
So instead of 2 outs now with runners on third and second, there's a runner on second, 2 outs, and now a 2-2 ball game. This is Kennedy Smith.
Kennedy Smith, the big bat, transferred in from Huntsville during the offseason, committed to play at Arkansas Tech.
Pulls that one back, and that is a strike. A 1-1 count for Smith. Savannah Woods sitting there at second base for those keeping track at home. That one high for ball 2. And what do you think about that, Kyle? That play that we saw, it would have paid off if they would have been able to strike her out, throw her out. But is that something you make so early in this game?
I don't think so. I think it was probably just kind of more of a knee-jerk reaction. You know, obviously just trying to be aggressive and trying to get that final out, get out of the inning, get back to hitting. But yeah, I think that was probably, you know, just a little bit too much of a knee-jerk reaction.
I think so too. She looked into the dugout the minute she threw that ball. But hopefully for them, for Bentonville, if you're watching this, rooting for Bentonville, it doesn't make too much of a difference in this game. Strike 3, and that's going to end the inning. Har-Ber able to tie things up here 2-2 as we head to the bottom of the third, and Bentonville looking to see if they can regain the lead.
This month on Arkansas PBS.
I overheard you say, nobody knows what this is, and I shouted out, I do.
For a collector like myself, this is like heaven.
Here we go. I'm home.
The party is just getting started.
They're so romantic. Oh.
I don't have to tell you, it's been a thrilling trip so far.
Seeing those stars perform gave a little glimpse of that home that was waiting for you upon your return.
Only on Arkansas PBS.
Since 1937, the electric cooperatives of Arkansas have been providing power to homes, farms, and businesses across our state. The cooperatives are member-owned and work together to serve Arkansans. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas proudly support high school students and athletics in Arkansas and hope you enjoy watching the state championship games on Arkansas PBS Sports. Better connected together. The electric cooperatives of Arkansas.
Welcome back. We've given you half an inning to think about the answer to this trivia question, which I knew, by the way, Kyle was going to get right off the bat. Who holds the all-time record for most state championships as a coach, Kyle?
It's Michael Beasley at Foreman, isn't it?
It is. And
Kent Early.
There
that's
you
right.
go.
And sorry, Kent, shortchanged you there.
So
yeah,
there
Michael
they are,
and
tied.
Kent.
And he has an opportunity to surpass him with 7 if Bentonville can be on the winning side when it is all said and done. But we've got a lot of softball here left to play. We're in the bottom of the third right now. Bentonville back up to bat. Violet Wynn leading it off. The junior steps up, rocks this one into shallow left center field. That one's going to drop in for a base hit, and it's a lead-off single for Wynn. And just like Har-Ber, trying to take advantage. She's able to find that sweet spot there in between left field, shortstop, and center field.
Yeah, kind of no man's land right there. Just wasn't really sure. Should have been left fielder, should have been the shortstop. Weren't really sure who was going to call that one, but that's just one of those, as you said, that kind of just goes into the shallow outfield, and no man's land is what most people call it.
It is. It is that spot where You're not sure if the shortstop's going to run that far deep into the outfield, or depending on how far back your left fielder is playing, and just one of those unfortunate places where it bounces in for a base hit. Unfortunate for Har-Ber, if you're Har-Ber. Beneficial for Bentonville, if you're Violet Wynn standing on first base.
Aniston Wright back at the plate. Dots gets ahead of her, but her last at bat, she knocked in those 2 runs.
You can tell she's got some power to her, and that's why she's got 13 home runs on the season.
Her dad, Jerry, is a former Razorback offensive lineman. And upstairs on that one, great pitch by Dots.
A really good pitch. That one looked good out of the hand, and that's why Aniston swung at it, but it rose right above the bat in for a strike. Fouls that one off, back and over the right field dugout.
These matchups are, when you get to a pitcher and a hitter that know each other so well, these matchups are always extra fun.
That is a strikeout, and a big one if you're Sierra Dots for your first strikeout of the inning.
Real good sequence there by Dots. Started outside, then went up, went outside again, and then got her swinging on the rise ball to strike her out.
That is her second strikeout of the day. The other one came in the bottom of the second inning. But she knew the power that Aniston Wright brings with her when she steps into the batter's box, and so a big strikeout there for her. She now faces Alexis Lorange. Alexis fouling that one back into the backstop, off the netting. One on, one out, a 1-1 count here for Lorange. Popping this one up, it looks like it's going to be Savannah Woods to bring it in, and she does for the second out of the inning. And now 1 on, 2 outs for Har-Ber. Marissa Gianneschi, the junior, 0-1 to start things off. Steps back into the batter's box.
She gets ahead early there, trying to knock her 35th hit of the season.
Gianneschi, we talked about it too, a .425 batting average, 34 hits on the season. And this is coming from the middle of your lineup. I mean, that is just how hard it is to get these girls out top to bottom in this Bentonville lineup. Same with Har-Ber. Just the way offensively both of these teams don't really feel like they have any weaknesses.
That's right, and that's why they've been the top 2 teams in the state all year.
Both of these teams getting byes in the first round of the state tournament, and then Bentonville defeating Fayetteville 15-0 before that nail biter against Rogers last week, 2-1. That's how they got here. Har-Ber defeating Conway 2-0, and then Bryant 1-0. And there for Gianneschi, drawing the walk. And now you've got 2 on.
Going back to sending the pitches in, it looks like that the Har-Ber assistant had a walkie-talkie. You can use PitchCom now. Mayflower softball uses it, Conway baseball. So that's, as of this season, you can use that. So I guess maybe they're communicating with Sanchez back there behind the dish.
The beauty of technology, Kyle.
That is right. Love to see the advancements.
Makes things a whole lot easier, too. I'm sure when we were growing up playing, you had the coaches. One of your practices was just learning the signals and all the switches. And if I hit my nose, the signal's on or off. And now you can just hold up a number and look at a wristband or walkie-talkie it in. And much easier these days.
Yeah, and I know the audience can't, but I can't see the signal I'm making. But I know Coach Austin last year. I watched him because I saw Har-Ber play multiple times last year, and he would basically flex his fists and maybe touch his stomach, and that was always take. At least it was last. I'm sure they change their signals every game or two, but I try to study those, especially when I see teams multiple times.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what teams do with their signal calling, how they do it. Dave Van Horn up on the hill with the Razorbacks, he still does signs.
Yep.
He'll do the old school signs. He's still that way. This one off the end of the bat, into foul territory for Ava Stymus. She's got a 2-2 count on her. 2 of her teammates on base and 2 outs and a 2-2 ball game. Trying to see if Bentonville can put another one on the scoreboard before the inning is over. Har-Ber trying to get out of the inning.
Talking about the production of this lineup. She's hitting 382 is normally a pinch hit. Three of her 13 hits on the season have gone for doubles.
That one sent into right center field. That one is going to bounce in. Bounces off the glove of Madison Little. That scores 2 runs, and you've got Ava Stymus standing on second. You called it. How many doubles does she have?
That's her 4th one now, and that's what they saw with this. They love that matchup against another pitcher or another batter that knows Sierra Dots well. So Coach Early saw something probably from the previous 2 games, or maybe even something from the state tournament that he had talked about this week, that he was really considering putting her in that lineup and not just bringing her out of the dugout.
Well, that score 2 clears the bases, and Bentonville takes a 4-2 lead, their biggest lead of the day so far here in the bottom of the 3rd, and still 2 outs with Kiera Burkhart in the 8-hole. And that one, I think, went further than I even anticipated off the bat, Kyle. It almost looked like she hit it off the end of the bat, but had enough power in that swing to get it out there into right center field.
Yeah, just that's one thing that she's known for. She gets a really good bat on the ball and can hit it into the gaps just like that.
She did go around, and that is strike number 3. That's going to end the inning, but Bentonville finding some success on the base paths. They've got 4 as Har-Ber now trails by 2. We continue to roll on here from Shock Stadium, and Conway will be right back as we head to the top of the 4th.
This month on Arkansas PBS.
When 3 actors vie for a role,
the next Agent Jonas Best.
One of them dies.
This was cold-blooded murder.
Ah, the peaceful villages of midsummer, host to lovely parties, friendly neighbors, and
she's been murdered.
Arnie Langston is your ex-husband?
Yes.
I'm afraid he's been found dead at the rugby grounds.
Only on Arkansas PBS.
UANS is a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS sports. UANS Health provides orthopedic and sports medicine care across Arkansas, supporting athletes and teams throughout the state. Find out more at uanshealth.com.
Congratulations to our 6A Arkansas PBS student all-star Madeline Baldwin, a sophomore pitcher from Bryant with a 4.04 GPA. Undecided right now on a major, plenty of time to decide that, but interest includes wealth management, optometry, or pharmacy. 6A Arkansas PBS student all-star Madeline Baldwin of Bryant.
Congratulations, Madeline. Well done. And yeah, all great options there.
She's got plenty of time.
It is, yes. And what you want to do, and you're absolutely right. She does have plenty of time. So do we. Got a lot of softball left to play as Jasmine Thomas steps in for Har-Ber here in the top of the fourth. Darby Burnett in the circle for Bentonville. 6 strikeouts on the day, 4 walks, and that is really the story there, Kyle. The walks that Bentonville has given has helped Har-Ber put those 2 runs on the board.
That and along with the 2 high throws. Of course, the 1 high throw to third base and also to second was what ultimately played a big part of that. And so I think, Darby cuts down on the walks a little bit, obviously tries to keep the lead off first base. That was kind of one of the things that haunted him there in the third, was getting the leadoff walk, and then that ended up, of course, resulting in another run for the Wildcats.
1-1 count right now on Jasmine. She hit that one, and they say that is a fair ball down the right field line. They called that a fair ball, so she is standing safe on first base. The home plate umpire called it fair. Let's take a second look at that if we could.
Coach Austin's talking to the third base umpire.
Here's a replay for you. And yeah, it looked like that one was foul. I think it bounced foul before it hit behind the bag. So Jasmine Thomas back at the batter's box, gonna try it again. That one a little low, yeah. For ball number 2, so a 2-2 count. The sun not doing anybody any favors, except for it's not raining, so I'm not going to complain.
That's all we can be thankful for.
Just misses on the outside for ball number 3, and now Thomas has a full count.
One other thing, I was actually getting to check out the 2A game, of course, as well, and just walking around campus a little bit. It actually doesn't feel too terrible. Normally when you get this kind of weather, it's just so sticky outside, but fairly nice weather.
This is my first time down here, believe it or not, to the UCA campus, and I've heard a lot of good things about Conway as a city in general, and of course UCA and the facilities they have down here in the campus, and it is very beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
Down here.
When I was here as a student many moons ago, that was when they built the business building. It's always been pretty here, but it's just this town just continues to boom. I remember my dad talking about that when I moved here about 15 years ago, and it's exploded even more since then.
It's been a fun couple of days being able to stay here in Conway. Drove into the little downtown, which was also very cute and beautiful.
Downtown.
Ate at Pasta Grill. And when I say I ate at Pasta Grill, I got the peach bread pudding.
Hey, it still counts.
I just went in there and had dessert because if you know me, that's how I operate. And it was absolutely delicious. Sierra Dots there, hit by that pitch by Burnett, and she is standing on first base. Har-Ber now with runners on first and second base, and an opportunity again for them in the top of the fourth. No outs, just off the shoulder.
So I was just going to say, those no outs. I think Sierra will happily wear that one.
I don't think any pitcher wants to get hit on any shoulder or anywhere.
That's true, especially her throwing arm.
But she's tough. She's going to have a pinch runner come in and run for her over on first base. Savannah Mounts now with an opportunity to help her team get back into this one and tie it up. Squares around for the bunt, pulls that ball back, and it's still called a strike. To wrap up my story, Kyle Lala was saying, it's been a very pleasant stay here in Conway. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, love always coming back. I don't come back here a whole lot except for normally during the weekend of champions, but this was my home for 5 years. Really enjoyed it.
Lays down that bump, but it goes foul. I'm going to have to come back and do a little bit more while I'm here. Moved up to Fayetteville in 2013, and that is home for me. Don't get down here to the central Arkansas area very often, and I need to change that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I live about 30 minutes away, and maybe I'm here 2-3 days a year. Every once in a while I'll come up for other stuff. But
she looks at ball one. That one a little bit low and outside. A 2-1 count here on Savannah Mounts. Again, 2 runners on, no outs for the Wildcats. And when they find themselves in a 4-2 deficit, looking at an opportunity here. That one high. Over, well done by Violet Wynn to scoop that up and get the out at first base. That's gonna move the runners into scoring position at third and second.
what an exceptional effort there by Wright. The ball was a little bit out of reach, but she was able to get the tag.
They're gonna sit here and talk about this.
Or so we think.
There's the scoop, the throw. They call her out, but I think they're going to look to see if, I think the argument that Coach Osmus might have is, was she on the base when she caught that ball? They're going to have a conversation.
Yeah, great effort nonetheless, but it definitely was extremely close. Let's see if this gives us a better look.
That's tough. Great camera work by our camera crew there, but let's see, when she catches the ball, is she still on the base? She might have got it there with that foot, the toe of her foot. Man, good effort there by Aniston Wright, and a good attempt there by Savannah to try to run that out on first base. Still helps out her team, advances the runners, and still one out as Briley Bratcher now steps in, squares around, pulls back. Looks at strike number one. That's
one of the underrated things. You look at a Brie, and I'm not comparing Aniston to Brie Ellis. I'm just saying, you think about, everybody talks about what a big bat that she has. And then Aniston certainly has that with 13 home runs, but also just the great plays that she makes at first, like that one.
It's a great comparison there. Brie Ellis up for National Player of the Year. Of course, Arkansas about to start their second super regional game against Ole Miss in about 35 minutes up at Bogle Park in Fayetteville.
Hopefully our pitching staff got some fluids in them and feeling much better than yesterday.
I hope so. If you're a softball fan, then you've been paying attention to what Courtney Deifel has done with that program. And Ole Miss getting that first game of the super regional, but Arkansas still trying to see if they can make their first Women's College World Series. A 1-2 count here now for Briley Bratcher.
Now Darby having to block out that sun to see the what pitch Coach Early's calling in.
Yeah, and the signals. You know, if you're Bratcher here, what you're trying to do is just hit something out of the outfield or out of the infield and into the outfield, even if it's a pop-up deep enough to try to at least score a run here. You've got to capitalize on this opportunity that Bentonville is giving you.
Really close one there on that outside corner. I know has been a topic of conversation since this one started.
Fouls that one back to stay alive. Bratcher, the center fielder for Har-Ber, struck out her first time at bat as well. One of the 6 strikeouts that Burnett has on the day. But again, we've talked about it. She also has 5 walks, which is why there's a runner on third base right now. Strikes her out. That gets the second out of the inning. And now the Wildcats are down to their last out of this half of the inning here in the 4th. Still trying to capitalize on a walk and hit by pitch that now has runners on 3rd and 2nd. Belle Haney looking to see if she can bring in a run for her team. Pulls back, watches that ball bounce in the dirt. Good job by Alexis Lorenage to not let that get by her and potentially score a run.
Haney was one of those 5 walks in the previous frame and ended up over at 3rd and then scored the 2nd run.
Squares around, pulls back, looks at ball 2. Coach Early wants to have a conversation with his infield and his pitcher and his catcher. Coach Osmus is going to have a conversation here with his runners and his players as well. Again, we knew that this game was going to be competitive. We knew that both of these teams were very focused and dialed in on beating each other. And with an opportunity right now for Har-Ber, they want to take advantage. There's that earpiece and communication we were talking about for Har-Ber, as you can see there. And Zamaria Sanchez standing at the edge of the dugout door with her catcher's gear on. Right now, she's just cheering on Belle Haney, see if she can get something done here. Watches strike 1, a 2-1 count now for Haney.
Seems like Darby, especially in this inning, I know that there's 2 runners on, but really recent few pitches, she's located them a little bit better, putting them right in Lorenage's glove.
That one beautifully painted on the inside corner, and that is strike number 2. So a 2-2 count. You can hear the crowd start cheering, getting a little bit louder in this moment. That one a little high and inside for ball 3. So a full count on Haney. Battling, sends this one just a little slow roller to 3rd, but they are able to get out of the inning and no damage done as Har-Ber leaves 2 stranded on 3rd and 2nd. That is going to do it for the top of the 4th. We come back at the bottom of the inning with Bella Mears, Kylie Wyman, and Demi Donahoe due up.
This month on Arkansas PBS.
When you see how vulnerable and helpless they are, you wonder how any of them make it.
It's okay. You're safe.
After achieving a remotely controlled pylon,
Everybody is safe. We will now investigate.
what can be learned from the chaos?
Oh my God.
1 out of every 4 animals is a beetle. Insects with armor.
Only on Arkansas PBS.
UANS is a proud supporter of Arkansas PBS sports. UANS Health provides orthopedic and sports medicine care across Arkansas, supporting athletes and teams throughout the state. Find out more at uanshealth.com.
Relive all of the action from this weekend with DVD copies of the state championship games. They're available from M&M Productions. More information at mnmproductions.net.
Here we go now to the bottom half of this 4th inning here. Bentonville still up 4-2 over Har-Ber. Har-Ber with an opportunity at the top of the inning to score some runs, but left 2-1, and now Bentonville is looking to see if they could add to the lead that they currently have. Bella Mears here stepping into the batter's box for the 2nd time. She had a hit her first at bat. Kind of holds up the bottom of this lineup before it cycles back up to the top, and Kylie Wyman. And this is the kind of 9-hole hitter you want to have, someone who can almost be that second leadoff and keep that momentum going from the bottom of the lineup to the top.
That's right. I talked about it at her first at bat. It is very, very seldom that you see a 9-hole. Really, batters in general hitting 500 on a consistent basis, but especially getting that from your 9-hole, you love that production.
Turns around, lays down that bunt, really well executed. Kind of dies there right in between the home plate and the pitcher's mound, which allows her to get down the line, because when Dot scooped it up, she knew she didn't have time for that throw. Really just kind of dies right there, and well executed by Mears. That's exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah, lays it
Bella
down.
being able to get on base and get things back to the top of the order.
That's right. Laid it down perfectly, and then from there just utilize that speed to get on first.
I might have to have you check me, Kyle, as we kind of go back and look at our scorecards at how many times the leadoff batter has gotten on base in this game, because it almost feels like every inning they've been able to have someone lead off. It happened in the top of the first. Happened in the bottom of the first. We'll get back to you on that.
Looks like every inning but the bottom of the 2nd.
There you go, Kyle. Well done, executed. Put there back up the middle into center field for a base hit for Wyman. That's her 2nd hit of the day. And she is now standing on first base, where she has been at every single at-bat.
Dot's got Ava Stymus swinging as the leadoff batter in the 2nd inning. And then, of course, in the last inning, Stymus won that battle to get a 2 RBI double.
2 on now here with no outs for Bentonville and Demi Donahoe. Turns around, tries to put down that bunt. They say she went, and so that's strike number 1. That is a full attempt there, so that strike is warranted. Holds back on that one for her first ball. Pops that one back, and that's strike 2 for her. She had a single in the first and then grounded out to short in the 2nd. She sits here in the box against Dots for the very third time, and all she's trying to do right now, Kyle, is get her teammates at third and second, or potentially even try to add a run here on the scoreboard. Pops that one, foul territory, up against the wall. Kennedy Smith's there to make the catch, and that is the first out of the inning.
Job by Goose, or Goose, I just called her nickname. Kennedy Smith over there at the netting. I'm used to all these nicknames from the travel ball scene. Yeah, she's known as Goose.
Is there a story behind that?
I don't know. I've just always, that's all.
I'm sure
ever since
that
I was told.
there has to be.
Yeah, I was told.
You can't
about
have
her.
a nickname like that without one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I first heard about her freshman year, as I do with a lot of these kids when they're coming up, and that's what I honestly, it throws me off when I hear Kennedy, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm sorry to throw you off. That's what
It's
a birth
not your fault.
certificate says. It says Kennedy, not Goose. But
that's not your fault. That's what we've got on the sheets. That's what the roster says and our lineup cards.
So Violet Wynn steps in now. She walked her first time, had a base hit her second at bat, and again, Bentonville just trying to add to this lead with 2 on right now. Pops this one up. This one heading into left field. Savannah Mounts able to make the catch, and that is out number 2. So runners stay put. Nobody's going anywhere, but unlike a few batters ago where they were on base with no outs, now they're on with 2 outs.
And once again, you feel a lot more comfortable with your Dots here, going from 2 on with no outs and then just 1 away from heading to the 5th.
You can definitely take a deep breath in the circle.
Right,
especially
up to bat again.
as Aniston Wright steps in. Got her with the rise ball there. Really well executed pitch. Did you go just over the bat for strike number 2?
And we saw Sierra take that. Of course, she bats and she throws right, bats left. We saw her take that shot on the arm there. Looks like it's not affecting her.
No, that one a little high for ball 1. But you're right. I mean, I feel like she's pitched so well. I forgot that she just took that ball off the shoulder at the top of the inning. Probably got a little ice.
Yeah.
Because they had a pinch runner in there for her after her hit by pitch, and she seems to be doing okay, though. These girls are tough. I will have to say that is my biggest takeaway over the weekend. There are some tough softball players in the state of Arkansas.
The last game, Riverside's Claire Womack took that hit right off the knee, and
second batter of the game.
Yeah, and then of course was it Lexi Vigil in left field and P. Ridge that made one of the plays of the weekend where she dove for the ball and was a little shaken up for a while and was fine. But yeah, you're right, the toughness is definitely on display this whole weekend.
Aniston fouling that one back behind the plate to stay alive. She's got a full count on her now. She's got 2 on, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. And she watches ball 4 to walk.
Weird juice.
Bases loaded now. I'm used to beer hats coming out in the stands at this point in a game, but
put their
all the same.
The waters and their Coke cans on their heads.
That'll work. That'll work here at Shock Stadium. Bases loaded for Bentonville. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Again, trying to extend this 4-2 lead. You now have Alexis Lorenage
looking for her first hit, 0 for 2 so far.
Watch us strike one. That one a good pitch there by Sierra Dots. I think, too, if you're Dots, you're okay with that walk to right. I think you can focus here on this pitch and not worry about that one into center field, and that ends the inning. So no damage is done. No more added runs by Bentonville, and we are still at 4-2 here as we head to the 5th. Har-Ber looking for another opportunity to see if they can tie this game back up. We'll be right back from Conway after this.
Winrock Automotive supports Arkansas athletes as a sponsor of the Arkansas PBS Sports broadcast of the high school state championship games. With 7 dealerships across the state serving Little Rock, Conway, and Jonesboro, Winrock Automotive is community-focused and provides vehicle sales and service across Arkansas. We're honored to be a part of these unforgettable moments celebrating Arkansas student athletes. Winrock Automotive, connecting communities through service and support.
Well, welcome back. This is how everything has unfolded here, Kyle, here at Shock Stadium today.
That's right. Got the throw a little bit too high to third base that scored the first Har-Ber run. Then Bentonville gets on the board with an Aniston Wright 2 RBI double. And of course, and the next score went to the Har-Ber Wildcats in the 3rd inning. That was on another miscue throw there to second base that scored Bella. And of course, this one right here by Stymus, a big 2 RBI double. Stymus normally coming out of the dugout to pinch hit in most cases, but in the lineup today in the 7-hole.
And that is how we got here. It is a 4-2 ball game as the sun is slowly making its way below the trees, and this is what we were talking about. 1 for 1 in that leadoff spot is Har-Ber. 3 for 4 is Bentonville. It's just felt like both of these teams have been able to start the innings with the leadoff batter standing on first base when it's all said and done, whether that's a hit or with a walk.
Yeah, that's right. As you mentioned it earlier, a walk is any kind of free pass. That's as good as a hit when you get a runner on, especially when runs are premium when these two teams are playing each other.
We are back to the top of the lineup for Har-Ber. Zaria Palmer had a base hit in the first. Trying to see if she can continue the trend. And right now she likes what she sees in this 3-0 count against Burnett.
As he's gotten on both via a walk and a hit, or scored that run that we saw in the first inning at the top.
And there it is, ball 4. So the trend continues, Kyle. The leadoff batter for Har-Ber aboard.
That's the 6th walk issued by Burnett on the day. Got 7 strikeouts to 6 walks. Only allowed 1 hit though.
And so far, those walks haven't been able to be too detrimental. Only one of those walks ended up scoring a run for Har-Ber. Her defense able to be steady behind her and help get out of some opportunities that Har-Ber has had, including the top of the 4th when they had 2 on and no outs. This is Savannah Woods stepping in here. She was also one of those walks issued by Burnett. Watch a strike number 1 roll in. Fouls that one back to keep things going here at her at-bat. 1 ball, 2 strikes for Woods, and
he was on sec. She
was
trying to get in scoring position.
She's ready. You're right. Again, these outside corners, both of these pitchers have just kind of been testing the waters with that outside pitch just to see what they can get. It's been hit or miss for both sides today and trying to find that sweet spot on the outside. That one worked. Draws her around for strike 3, and that is out number 1. The 8th strikeout for Darby Brunette on the day. It's going to bring up Zamaria Sanchez. Sanchez grounded out and struck out at her 2 appearances at the plate. Squares around. Takes ball 1. There goes Palmer. You know she was waiting to do it, and that ball skips under the glove of Kylie Wyman into center field, and she is safe at second base. Now with a runner in scoring position, takes the force out away.
I think that was one of those situations, kind of like you in football, you teach the wide receiver to look it into the tuck and then run with it. That was kind of a case right there. I think she thought she had it in her glove and then tried to make the turn when the ball was going into shallow center field.
We also watched Palmer slide head first there. We've seen a couple of slides today, slide past the bag in that hook slide, and those fingers just slip off the base because it's hard to grip. If you're going head first, though, you've got your whole entire body you're using to stop yourself over that bag. And she was doing everything she could to get herself in this scoring position she's in right now. There it is, ball 4. Runners now at first and second.
4-pitch walk. Darby's been in this position today and got out. Of course, had runners on second and third to get out of the 4th. Notice this inning, both her and Lorinich have kind of traded, like, calm down, let's just settle in. And
well, both of these teams have been sitting around all day. I know that Bentonville drove down last night to get here in town, stayed in Maumelle, and they all anticipated a 4 o'clock start. That's what the schedule was. Of course, the rain came in and moved everything back, and so they didn't get things started till 6. I visited with Lindsay Davis, as I mentioned, the assistant coach for Bentonville. They went to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, I saw those pictures.
As she said, unique snacks over at Trader Joe's, and did some shopping while they tried to kill some time today and wait out this rain delay they were in. But you also know as an athlete too, even if you're going to Trader Joe's, you're just sitting around the hotel or whatever it is you're doing to kill the time, there's just the anticipation of this game that just sits with you up until game time all day.
I think that's the main thing, is just kind of figuring out, okay, we know that we have to wait this out, but then once you get a time that's more so when you see the weather's moving out, kind of eases those nerves a little bit.
Swing and a miss for Kennedy Smith for strike 2. Do you frequent Trader Joe's around here?
When I lived in, I've only been to the one in Little Rock probably about 2 or 3 times now. When I lived in San Antonio, I used to go weekly. It was right by my apartment.
Put you on the spot here.
To be honest, I don't even remember. They had these it was almost like the Taki, the spicy chips. They had like a healthier version of those that I couldn't even buy, because even if they're healthy, too much of one thing, it's kind of like my Coke Zeros, too much of one thing is still too much. So I had to be really careful.
There, Kyle.
Yeah, I tried, but I love me some Trader Joe's. Shameless plug.
I had never heard of it until I went and spent a lot of time with my aunt and uncle who lived in California, and my aunt introduced me to it. I'm a big fan of their sparkling lemonade.
That is good too.
That one punched. That one is down into left center field off the glove of Kiera Brookhart, and that is going to score Palmer. That is going to put runners at third and second, and what a patient at bat for Kennedy Smith to get the RBI double and get her team that much closer to tying this game right back up.
Kennedy Smith at the bottom of the fourth there made that really good catch along the netting to get the first out when they had already had 2 runners on, and now knocks a run in. Been a big addition to this Lady Wildcat team this season.
Well, this Wildcat team has been patient and it has battled in the box, and that one has paid off in a run, and now you have Jasmine Thomas, the sophomore. Another opportunity with 2 outs and runners on. A runner on second, so I apologize. Did that score both runs? I believe that it did. This might be a tie ball game.
I think it's just, I've got some conflicting things myself. I think it is 4-3.
There were 2 on, and now there's only 1. Did they get the out at third? There's a lot going on there.
There was a lot going on, but I'm pretty sure we're at 4-3 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that is right.
Okay, so it's now 4-3, just like we thought. It was Palmer who is the one that scored on that hit into left center field by Smith, and then Bentonville able to get the out at third, which is now why we have 2 outs.
Had to play a little catch up.
From where we're sitting, we were just trying to follow our monitors here. And
yeah, because Z scored, Zaria scored from second, and then Ziamara Sanchez was thrown out at third.
Okay.
And then Goose, Kennedy Smith, sorry.
You can call her that. No, now that we know, we've established
now that everybody knows.
Nickname.
That's honestly probably what she
Goose on second.
Not to speak for her, but I imagine that may be what she prefers anyway.
Who's on first?
Who's on first?
It's a joke. Oh my gosh,
nobody.
Kyle.
Yeah, come on now. You see, you can't do too many things to me at once here.
It's fine.
ADD kicking in.
Foul ball there by Jasmine Thomas. So again, to recap what just happened, there were 2 on with 1 out for Kennedy Smith. She was able to poke that ball into the left center field hole. That scored Palmer from second, and then Zamaria Sanchez was thrown out at third for the second out of the inning, and now we have a 4-3 ball game. Now a 2-2 count on Jasmine Thomas. Really well executed there by Kennedy Smith to be patient in that at-bat and make such good contact to put it in that hole. And then I couldn't tell if it was off Kiera Brookhart's glove or her foot to buy that extra time for Palmer. But that right there is strike number 3. She gets her looking to end the inning, but Har-Ber able to add 1 back to the scoreboard. It is now 4-3, still in favor of the Bentonville Tigers. They'll be at bat when we get back after this.
I have some glad tidings to impart.
Whoa! Look at that!
I'm still surprised at how good I am.
Jane Austen was my sister.
I didn't think I would ever study medicine, but here I am.
Absolutely delicious, especially straight out of the oven.
I've never seen anything like this.
think we have sufficient cause for celebration.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by...
Centennial Bank supports communities across Arkansas and is a proud supporter of the Arkansas Activities Association and Arkansas PBS Sports, providing financial services since 1999. Member FDIC. More at my100bank.com.
Camera crew out there bringing you the best angles of this 6A state championship game, and a big shout out to those scaffoldings, hey there, that they are standing on. That is all thanks to Legion Scaffolding. The scaffolding support for this broadcast provided in kind by Legion Scaffolding. For more information, visit legionscaffolding.com. Here in the bottom of the fifth as we get ready for Bentonville to step back into the batter's box. This is Marissa Gianneschi to lead things off.
Has been on via walk, still looking for her first hit.
Watches ball two there, and ricochet is off of Sanchez's shin guard there, but no one on the base path, so no harm, no foul. Quick little meeting there in the circle. A few high fives as the infield goes back to their positions. And that is ball three for Dots. When you look at her line right now, she's almost at 100 pitches, Kyle. Sitting at 98 right now. 3 strikeouts, 4 walks. Giving up 4 runs and 8 hits today. There it is, strike one on a 3-0 count.
And Darby is at 114 pitches, so both of them getting up there.
Both of them battling, though, and you also have to, again, we've talked about this lineup for both of these teams, 1 through 9, just hard outs top to bottom. And so for these pitchers, as she puts in strike number 2 there, knew they were going to have to come to work and put in the work today. Not that that's a surprise at all in this 6A division. But these are batters who are going to be patient. They are going to foul off pitches. They are going to make you work for every strike, and that is why the walk count is where it is and the pitch count is where it is. This one into deep left center, or right center field. That one off the wall, and that is a double for Gianneschi.
Talk about that patience. She's got, as we mentioned there at the beginning of the at-bat, she's been on via walk and now starts the bottom of the 5th frame with a double, sliding in.
Well executed there. Not much that Briley Bradger could do there in center field except for just play that ball off the wall. And again, like we were talking about, she had a 3-0 count on her. Would have taken a walk. Watched 2 strikes come in and then was able to take that ball off the wall.
Here's Stymus at the plate following her 2 RBI double that she had previous at bat that ultimately gave Bentonville the lead.
Pops this one up foul and out of play.
A lot to be said about Stymus too. There's plenty of other schools that she could have been playing more at this year, but understands that the development that she's under with Coach Early and Coach Davis really earned her spot.
Well, after falling behind 0-3 to Gianneschi, Dots is now up 0-2 against Stymus. Trying to get her to reach, and she does. That is a strikeout And that is her 4th of the day for Dots. That's the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Kiera Brookhart, the senior. 0-2 for today, but just a really good pitch there by Dots. Not much Stuymus could do there, just reaching for that one out of reach of that swing. Burkhart today popped up to left field, also struck out. Tries to lay down the bunt, but that one goes back. It is now a 2-1 count on Burkhart, and she's trying to draw these infielders away from third base so that she can see if she can get Gianneschi over there that much closer to scoring another run. And that is a strike. So a 2-2 count now on Burkhart.
That last one got Stuymus swinging on a little bit outside there, and now showing bunt.
Pulls it back and fouls it back. And once again, just continuing to battle like every one of these batters have in this game. We keep saying it. We might sound like a broken record, Kyle, but no easy outs.
None. Another full count.
And she gets her swinging for out number 2. Back-to-back Ks for Dots. And just like that, despite that leadoff double by Gianneschi, the Wildcats now have 2 down in the bottom of the 5th.
Worked up in the zone for that one. Now top of the lineup coming, Kylie Wyman.
Bella Mears first.
Bella Mears, I got ahead of myself.
She basically is like a second leadoff hitter. So
that's right.
We'll give you a pass there, but Bella Mears, who has gotten on base in both of her appearances today, looking to try to do it for a 3rd time.
Shortchange the one that I've been talking about of how impressive it is, hitting over 500 as a 9-hole, hitting over 500 in general. Sorry about that, Bella.
I'm sure she forgives you.
I think she does.
Chases that one outside, and that is in for strike 2.
Another sign of a great pitcher there with Dots been giving up that leadoff double, and he's looked really good since.
And there you go for strike number 3. 3 strikeouts in a row after that leadoff double, and that is going to do it here for the 5th inning. It is a 4-3 ball game. We knew this was going to be exciting, and it has not disappointed. Let's head to the 6th. We'll be right back. Stay with us, won't you?
This month in Passport on the PBS app.
Austin City Limits celebrates 50 years.
Funk is something that takes you over.
A history that goes back
to the spiritual.
Liza Minnelli. Being born into Hollywood royalty, Judy Garland and Vincent Minnelli, doesn't make you a superstar.
These and other shows from Arkansas PBS are available with Passport on the PBS app.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by...
Summerwood Sports Complex in Bryant features 4 courts across 2 gyms, located off Interstate 30, offering space for tournaments, practices, and training. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association and Arkansas PBS. More at summerwoodsports.com.
Experience the action all over again next week. Watch all the championship games on the PBS app anytime. Go to myarpbs.org/watchsports.
It's been such a fun day and past few couple of days, Kyle, just doing these broadcasts, bringing our audience these state championship games, whether you've been watching softball or baseball, soccer. It's been a fun couple of days here at UCA with this Arkansas PBS sports crew.
That one inside.
So here we go to the top of the 6th. Har-Ber still chipping away. Got the offense going. Was able to score 1 in the 5th. Now Darby Burnett faces Sierra Dots. Dots hit by pitch the last time these two faced off.
See if we can continue the streak of getting the lead off on.
It's been a fun game to play.
It has.
See if
it's kind of the competition that we're in now.
Fouls that one off. Stays alive. 1-2. Fouls off, swing and a miss, teed it back, but beats out the throw of the pass ball, and hey,
it continues.
It doesn't matter how it happens, walk, base hit, or pass third strike, that she's able to run out, and she is safe at first, and we've got a leadoff runner to get things going on first base.
Another good job there by Wright to leap a little bit and make sure she gloved that one.
Able to turn around. When she turned around, she said, "Let's go." That's how you hype up your dugout right there on that first base line as Savannah Mounts steps into the box. Puts down the bunt. That one goes foul, though.
Looks like the infield's going to have a quick meeting.
Just a quick conversation to talk a few things over. Coach Osmus wants to have a quick conversation with Savannah Mounts as well. Quick question there by the umpire behind the plate down to his companion down on the first base side to see if she actually squared around and went. They say she did not, so it is a 1-1 count on Mounts. Savannah trying to steal second base, but this time they got her. Lorenage able to throw her out at second. Well, heads up throw and play there by Bentonville, and that clears the bases.
This ball to Wyman when they tried to throw out it was in the last frame. Ball went right past Wyman and into the outfield. She was able to get her right there and keep the base runners, keep the base pass clear.
Maybe that's what that little powwow in the circle was about.
Yep.
Nobody on base now. And one out for Mounts. Maybe changes the strategy at her at bat. Just like we talked about, every batter battling in this game, not making anything easy for either of these pitchers today. That one high and a little out of the reach there of Lorenage behind the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Mounts.
Full count. Burnett trying to strike out Mounts for the 2nd time on the afternoon, or evening, I guess I should say now.
That one inside for another walk. And Har-Ber finds another runner on first base with 1 out, and that is the 8th walk for Burnett today. 8 walks to her 10 strikeouts, 127 pitches. Briley Bratcher.
Overall, Burnett's numbers look good. She's been tagged for 3 runs. Now, one of those was earned, just 2 hits, 10 strikeouts, but the 8 walks are glaring.
Bentonville trying to turn the double play. The throw from second underneath the glove of Wright. They try to get her at second, and they do. Heads up there by Wright to scoop up that ball that passed under her glove and get it to second as quickly as she can to pull a very unorthodox double play, but it worked nonetheless there.
Great recovery. Thought they had the 6-4-3, but Wright was able to recover and make the play.
Well executed there by Bentonville. And that is going to end the bottom of the 6th. The top of the 6th. We now head to the bottom of the 6th. Due up for Bentonville, Wyman, Donahoe, and Wynn.
This month in Passport on the PBS app.
Some are born to adventure, and others are not.
These are difficult times, Captain.
What may come between us? Nothing in my life has meaning without you.
You said that the house held secrets.
Have you discovered any dreadful revelations yet?
These and other shows from Arkansas PBS are available with Passport on the PBS app.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by
Everett Buick GMC provides vehicles to Arkansas families and supports local organizations. Community involvement has been part of our story for generations. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association and Arkansas PBS Sports. More at everettbgmc.com.
UAMS Health, Orthopedics, and Sports Medicine supports athletic programs and events across Arkansas. Clinics are located throughout Central and Northwest Arkansas. Learn more at uamshealth.com.
Both of these fan bases bringing the crowd from Northwest Arkansas and Har-Ber and Bentonville, battling here in the bottom of the 6th, still 4-3. Bentonville now trying to add to that lead. Kylie Wyman to lead us off. We're back at the top of the lineup for Bentonville. And Wyman has seen success. We talked about lead off, walks, hits, past third strike, anything they've been able to do to get on base. And so far, both teams have. Kylie Wyman a big part of that. She has been able to get on base every single time she has stepped into the box today.
And now we turn the lineup over after I got ahead of myself there at the bottom of the 5th.
She's ahead 2-0. Watches ball 3, and I don't want to jinx it, Kyle.
Broadcaster jinx, what's that?
It's not real. Of course it's real. Jinxes are real. There's strike 1. And a 3-run count now on Wyman. This is her 4th time facing Sierra Dotson. When you play this game, and as familiar as you are with both of your opponents, especially when you face a pitcher for the 4th time in a game, you just feel comfortable. You know what's going to come at you. You know what's working for them and what's not that day. And the same thing on the other side. She's now come at you 3 other times. This is her 4th time. She's not going to try to do what she did the first 3.
Yeah, I think that you look across all 6 of our state championships that we've had, there are no 2 teams that know each other better than these 2.
And that is strike 3, gets her swinging, and what a way to bounce back after starting with a 3-0 count. Gets Wyman to strike out to start the inning, and jinxes are real. I told you. Uh-oh, I jinxed it. Assistant coach there for Bentonville, Lindsay Davis. I mentioned my relationship with her. I've known her for a few years. We've talked about how successful Coach Early has. If she wins a ring as an assistant, it will be her 10th ring. She'll have a ring for every finger. And she was saying, hey, maybe I might, you know, get 10 and sail off into the sunset. Another fun fact about Coach Davis, she was the first female scholarship athlete at the University of Arkansas for swimming and diving, of all sports. And then she would have been a part of that 1984 Olympic team had the United States not boycotted that Olympics, or 1980, excuse me, had they not boycotted that Olympics. So she's an athlete in her own right and a part of the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame, and she just watched one of her players there, and Demi Donahoe with a great hit for the double.
Start calling her state championship Debbie. I mean, that's the 2nd year in a row that she's knocked multiple hits in a state championship game.
You know, her assistant coach and her head coach loves that she's standing on second base right now. Violet Wynn standing in, and she's also had a pretty successful day herself.
Yeah, Violet Wynn, unfortunately her season ended before the season started last year. Had a really bad injury, just practicing, sliding into 3rd, and I believe she got cleared towards the end of last year, but really wasn't fully healthy until this season. She's had a great year.
Led off the game with a walk, then had a hit in the 3rd, which resulted in her scoring one of these 4 runs for Bentonville, and flew out to right field in the 7th, but she's had success, and again, facing Sierra Dot for the 4th time.
In her freshman year, when they had 8 signees for colleges, she was one of the few who got quite a few innings that earned her way into the lineup.
She's got a 2-1 count on her. She's got her teammate Demi Donahoe standing on second base, and she's got 1 out to work with. Nice pitch there on that outside corner. That's what she's been working with, trying to work with all day long. Gets that one in for a strike. Wanted her to chase that one, and you can tell, but good discipline there by Wynn not to chase. Full count on Wynn. Fouling that one back. Here's a look at the balls and strikes for both of these pitchers for Har-Ber and Dots. 54 balls to 77 strikes for Burnett. She's even at 64 apiece. Again, just kind of goes to show what the walks and the strikeouts and the battles that all of these hitters have done at the plate.
We're
gonna get some ice on those shoulders.
Yeah, well, we're approaching about 2.5 hours of since this game through the first pitch, and a big part of that is just these very tough at bats.
Grinding it out, popping it up here, looks like into shallow center field, and no one is there to get it. Maybe a little miscommunication on who was going to catch that ball, and the Tigers take advantage. I love the fact that Nguyen just ran that out, did not stop. She's standing on second. You've got Donahoe now at third, 1 out for the Tigers. And that was just another one of those things, Kyle, where that ball in shallow center field, just right on the other side of the grass, and a little bit of confusion on who was going to catch that ball.
In no man's land once again. Looks the center fielder comes crashing down, and looks like Savannah Woods was going for it and just couldn't quite get there. And now a meeting at the mound for the Wildcats with Coach Osnes.
I think he's probably explaining, hey, that ball right there is probably going to be your center fielder's best bet. But still, got to shake that one off. Got 1 out with 2 on. What Har-Ber doesn't want is for Bentonville to add any more runs to the scoreboard if they want to give themselves a good opportunity in the top of the 7th. On the other side, Coach Early loving it.
Yeah, he is. Just gave was that Demi Donahoe on third, a little high five.
Here's a look at the pitching with 2 outs. Har-Ber 2 for 7, Bentonville 0 for 4. Right pops that up. What a catch there by Sanchez. Quick reaction right there behind the plate to pop up, find that ball, and catch it for the 2nd out, and that was a huge out. Getting Aniston Wright to pop that up.
We've seen Dots get out of 2 runners in scoring position. See if she can do it here.
So Alexis Lorenage steps in. The catcher for Bentonville looks at ball 1. Yeah, if you're Har-Ber right there, Kyle, that is exactly what you wanted to happen with Aniston Wright at the plate. Strike 2. Excuse me, strike 1. A 1-1 count. Oh, they called that a ball. My apologies. Ball 2. There's a strike 1.
Dots got behind on that one quickly, but we've seen her recover a lot.
That was a good pitch, a good rise ball. She's relied on that one a couple of times, and it has been successful for her. That one looked good too, but maybe a little high for the umpire behind home plate. 3-1 the count now to Lorinage. Pops this one up. Savannah Woods gonna call this one off. She makes the catch, and that is gonna end the inning. Well executed there by Har-Ber as Bentonville threatened once again, but not able to cross another run over the plate. It is still 4-3 as we head to the 7th inning, the top of the lineup.
This month in Passport on the PBS app.
We'll see how the Romans created beauty in both intimate and monumental ways.
The biggest lesson I've learned is that every destination, from a big city to a small village, has a soul.
Why are there goats on this town hall?
There's got to be a connection.
When did a king have dinner with imaginary friends?
Wow.
These and other shows from Arkansas PBS are available with Passport on the PBS app.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by...
For over 70 years, Farm Bureau Insurance has offered coverage for automobiles, homes, farms, and lives across Arkansas. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association. More at afbic.com.
Welcome back here. We have made it, Kyle, to the top of the 7th. It is a 4-3 game between Bentonville and Har-Ber here in the 6A state championship matchup. It's been a fun one so far. We knew it would be. And this is the opportunity here for Har-Ber. 3 outs for them to work with now to see if they can either tie this up or take the lead. And a year ago, we talked about it at the top of the broadcast. It was a 1-run game as well. That one 1-0. But it's still a 1-run game right now in the 7th.
And really shows, if you just look at the box score, Bentonville's out-hit the Wildcats 11-2, but those 8 walks from Burnett have really played a major part, and they've taken advantage a few times.
So here we are at Haney Bell, the 9-hitter for Har-Ber before we get to the top of the lineup. The senior 0 for 1 tonight. She walked, though, in the third, one of those 8 walks that they've been able to draw today against Burnett, and then grounded out to the third baseman in the 4th.
Burnett quickly ahead.
That one low for ball 1.
Similar to that one in the last inning, it was a little bit high that he did not give dots either, so there's the consistency again.
That's all you can ask for. That one inside and jams up Belle Haney a little bit there, but that is a strikeout to start the inning, and Bentonville now 2 outs away from another state title.
Something that hasn't been mentioned is Burnett. We've seen what she's done all season, low to mid 60, pretty much mid 60, 64, 65, but she's only been pitching for 4 years, Alyssa.
That is incredible.
Only 4 years, and got another year of high school ball left, of course, playing on the travel scene as well. So the very best is in front of her, and she's already had a lot of success.
You can tell that she's got a lot of growth ahead of her, especially if you say she's only been doing this for 4 years, and if she wants to continue, which I'm sure she does at the college ranks, then you really start to hone your skill set. And She'll be a fun one to watch in the next couple of years. Again, one down here for the Wildcats. They've got two more to work with, and they're at the top of the lineup. This is Zariah Palmer. She's had a lot of success. She has scored 2 of these 3 runs for the Wildcats and hoping to get on board and see if she can have an opportunity to tie this up. Watches ball 3. Squares around to try to distract Burnett. And there it is, ball 4. So the tying run now at first base. That brings up Savannah Woods, the junior, 0 for 2 today.
It's the 9th free pass now. Issue on 4 pitches.
Har-Ber patient, taking what Burnett and Bentonville have been able to give them, capitalizing on mistakes. It's how you beat good teams. Doesn't chase that one, a 1-1 count. She has struck out twice, but she did walk in 3rd. Nice ball 2. You can see Zamaria Sanchez in the on-deck circle on the field at UCA here, pumping up the dugout, trying to get a rally going. Anything they can to see if they can get things done here in the 7th. The 2-2 count now, 1 out for Woods. Swing and a miss for strike number 3 and out number 2. And now Bentonville, they know it. 1 out away.
Here comes Sanchez, 0-2 for the day, with 1 walk and a strikeout.
So here we go. 2 down. The tying run is on first base. Zamaria Sanchez at the plate. She grounded out to the shortstop in the 1st. She struck out in the 3rd, and she walked in the 5th. And now she's trying to keep these state championship hopes alive for her Har-Ber Wildcats. And for Burnett, too, you talked about it. Despite these 9 walks that she's had, she's kept her composure in the circle.
Right, yeah, stayed confident. The rest of her line looks really good.
Low and inside for ball 2. Inside, chooses to foul that one off for strike 2, and now the Bentonville faithful on their feet. Phones are out trying to capture this moment for this 7th state title for Bentonville. The 7th for head coach Kent Early, if he can get it done, if his girls can get it done here with 1 out away, 1 strike away. But you know Har-Ber's not going to go away quietly. Swing and a miss, and that is going to do it. She strikes out the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it for the Bentonville Tigers. They are your 2025 Class 6A softball champion, back-to-back state champions. Bentonville Tigers going to add another ring to that collection, bring some more hardware there to Bentonville. We'll be right back to show off that beautiful piece of hardware after this.
I would have never known the things I know now without that program. It really helped me advance my opportunity to this career field.
Really gives them a fast forward, a good track to be able to come into the technical trades.
To celebrate the first of 5 brand new transmitters that will broaden our signal coverage to just under 100% of Arkansas. We are committed to helping the youngest Arkansans prepare for kindergarten and for life.
Education is everything, and if we can teach our children, to get out there and make the most of that, that's great. So I'm just proud to do my part.
I'm gonna, and I will first take.
This is the first step to reforming our Arkansas, taking the effort to understanding each other's struggles and making them our own.
Everyone repeat after me. We have a voice.
Could not reach our souls. Pause.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by...
Summerwood Sports Complex in Bryant features 4 courts across 2 gyms, located off Interstate 30, offering space for tournaments, practices, and training. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association and Arkansas PBS. More at summerwoodsports.com.
From the lessons that shape our children's futures to the stories that unite our communities, the impact of Arkansas PBS is undeniable. We give a voice to local news, art, history, and culture. Now more than ever, we need your help to keep this voice strong. Please help us to keep good going by making a gift of any amount to show your support for Arkansas PBS. Visit myarpbs.org/keepgoodgoing. Thank you.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by...
Everett Buick GMC provides vehicles to Arkansas families and supports local organizations. Community involvement has been part of our story for generations. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association and Arkansas PBS Sports. More at everettbgmc.com.
For more than 50 years, Arkansas PBS has been a trusted resource. Our high-quality programs are seen by viewers in every corner of our state, making on-air sponsorship a solid investment. Aligning your business with Arkansas PBS offers a powerful blend of community engagement, corporate philanthropy, and cause marketing. And our viewers remember and appreciate businesses that support our programs. Contact us today for more information on sponsorship opportunities.
This broadcast is underwritten, in part by...
For over 70 years, Farm Bureau Insurance has offered coverage for automobiles, homes, farms, and lives across Arkansas. Proud to support the Arkansas Activities Association. More at afbic.com.
The Bentonville Tigers, no strangers to titles in the sport of softball, but I tell you, Kyle, it never gets old. Congratulations to your 6A softball state champions and the Bentonville Tigers, back-to-back state champions. And that win right there gives them 7 as a program. That ties them with Foreman and North Little Rock for the most in Arkansas State history. And for that man right there, making history in himself, Kyle.
That's right. Ken Early, not just one of the best coaches that we have in our state. He's one of the best nationally when you look at the prep ranks. And this is the third time in school history that they have gone back-to-back, going for the three-peat next year. Not to get too far ahead, but going for the three-peat for the second time next year. So congratulations to him.
Well, this is how things unfolded early in the first. Har-Ber taking advantage of some throwing errors to get the first run on the board. Here in the second, it was Bentonville doing it with their offense. A 2-run RBI single by Aniston Wright. It's going to give them the lead. And then later on in this game, in the third, a throwing attempt to strike him out, throw him out, goes a little bit awry for Bentonville. That's going to score a run from second to tie things up. And then this one into right center field will also score 2 runs for Bentonville. That's how they got to 4. Just great offense, timely hitting when they needed it for the Tigers. Here in the 5th, this one into the gap in left center field. That scores another run. That makes it 3, but it's the strikeouts by Darby Burnett that made it happen and shut things down for the Tigers in the 7th. Here is a look at the championship memorabilia that you can get. The official championship apparel memorabilia for this season are available at ArkansasHighSchoolSports.com. Congratulations once again to the Bentonville Tigers, back-to-back state champions. And as I mentioned, for assistant coach Lindsay Davis, that is ring number 10 for her. A lot of happy tears over there with the Bentonville Tigers softball team. Here's what we've got tomorrow, because we couldn't get baseball in today because of weather. Your 6A baseball championship game between Rogers and Fayetteville at 2 p.m. And then on Wednesday, the 2A baseball game is at noon between Cedar Ridge and Riverside. We have crowned all our champions here in Conway for softball. Congratulations to all of the teams who have taken home trophies and championships over the last few days. It's been a pleasure to be on the call with you guys and PBS Sports alongside Kyle Sutherland. I'm Alyssa Orange. Thank you so much for joining us here from Conway at Shock Stadium. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and we'll see you right back here next season.